Welcome back to the channel. On today's video, we're going to be making this super cute gift basket. Stay tuned for more. Alright, you're going to need some supplies, so you need at least 4 or 5 different things to fill the basket with. I've got 3 varieties of Chex Mix, 1 container of coconut truffles, and 1 container of cake pops. I have a few supplies for decorating, just some ribbon, some hot glue, and some tape if I need it, as well as tissue paper and parchment paper. These are my containers. I'm going to go ahead and cut up some parchment paper and line them with parchment paper. The problem with cake pops and generally things that you keep in the fridge is that they're going to be oily and they might leak out onto your box and make them yucky and dirty. So you're going to want to line it with parchment paper before you really put anything in them. I like to cut mine into little pieces or little strips so that I can easily cross weave them into the boxes. It makes it a lot easier than trying to put a whole square in. If you put a whole square in, what I find is that it's just going to kind of crunch inside the box, but if you do 2 strips, one across and one the other way, you'll be able to fit it pretty nicely. These are my beautiful little cake pops that I made. We made 2 different kinds this year. We made funfetti and we made a vanilla. Aren't those pretty? And I should mention that this box is actually for a couple, so everything I'm doing is based off of what I would give to 2 people. I'm going to spice up the box a little bit and add a little bit of tissue paper to make it just look a little bit prettier. There's a lot of different ways you could do this. You could cut it into strips, you could crunch it up, you could do a lot of different things. I'm just going to fold this one. I think it gives it a nice clean look. Set that aside and we'll use it later. Alright, on to our next box. This one is going to have our coconut truffles in it. All these coconut truffles is coconut and white chocolate. They are so delicious. And 1 for 1 too. 1 cup of white chocolate, 1 cup of coconut truffles. So, great one to try. Aren't those beautiful? I'm going to put 4 into this box, and then I'm going to add some tissue paper. This one I had a little bit more trouble with. You can see my paper's a little crinkled. I worked on it a little bit, and then I finally decided just on crisscrossing it again. Set that one aside, and we'll come back to that one later as well. Next, we're going to work on our mason jar. We're going to cut some ribbon for it. I'm going to actually use 2 different sizes, 1 more wide for the neck, and then 1 for a little bit more embellishment. Now, unfortunately, my hot glue gun was not heated up, so I'm going to go ahead and work on the basket instead. I'm going to take 2 sheets of tissue paper, and then I'm going to start to fill in the basket. Just give it a little pop of color. That's what it looks like with just my tissue paper. I'm going to add some fill. Generally, I use this mostly to make sure that I have enough height when I'm filling the basket. I'm going to push down the sides a little bit and make it a little bit more presentable. Have a higher back and then a lower front. So satisfying. This is one of the Chex Mixes I made in my other video. This is a savory mix. I'll link to that up above. And now we're just going to play with configurations in the basket. I find that this tends to take a little bit of time. You really want to settle on something that's visually appealing, tries to give as much visual prominence to as many things as you can. You don't really want to have anything too hidden if you can avoid it, but sometimes it's impossible not to, and you kind of want to show as much as you can without making it too ugly. This is the first configuration I settled on. It's okay, but I'm not super crazy about it, so I'm going to keep playing with it. Alright, my glue gun heated up, so I'm going to go ahead and tie that ribbon on the base of my mason jar now. Little dab of glue here. Don't burn your finger. I always burn my finger. Normally I also like to put labels on the lids, but I didn't this year. I just ran out of time. So instead, we're going to go ahead and add a little bit more ribbon and add a little bit more embellishment to it. For that second ribbon, I'm going to use a narrow ribbon, and then I'm going to curl it. I'm going to run my finger through here to make sure it's actually underneath the lid. And then we're going to go ahead and curl this ribbon. You can see at first, they actually turned out vastly different on both sides. This is because how your ribbon curls is dependent on two things: how quickly you pull it and what direction you pull it in. I've been playing with this a lot this year. Sometimes I'll go slow and pull it down. It'll make this kind of pretty ringlet. If you curl it tight and fast, then you'll get this really tight curl. They don't have to perfectly match. I think they just have to look symmetrical enough that they're pretty. And then in the basket it goes. I'm going to play with this a little bit more, try to push things around so that it really embellishes everything that's in the basket. Then I always like to add our Christmas card in here. I know it tends to be late and people are basically just going to throw it out, but it saves you a lot on postage. I also like to add gift cards to the baskets. It really adds a nice touch if you're planning on using that as your main gift. And that is everything in our basket. Oh, one more thing. I do like to add these little mini Ghirardellis and these little Hershey nuggets. We swap what we put in the baskets every year. Sometimes it's Lindor truffles, sometimes it's other little mini candies, but this year it's going to be these. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and watch for more videos coming soon.